Welcome to Bots and Beyond, your weekly dose of all things automation, mixing up end user, vendor and consultant experience to create your go-to podcast for bot-related insights. I am your host, Wayne Butterfield.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the first Bots and Beyond of 2021. This time we're going to deep dive into private equity and automation and the value that private equity puts on the role of automation. I'm joined this week by a friend and client, somebody I've known for a number of years now, Josephine Hus. And it's great to have you on board, Josephine. So thank you for being Bots and Beyond's first guest first victim of 2021.
Hey, Wayne, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
As always, it's fantastic to deep dive into a topic of real interest, something that I've seen over the last few years. Interestingly, we've got a piece of work coming out in conjunction with UiPath and Danilo Magari, who you will know well, Josephine, around private equity and automation and the value that automation can bring into private equity and also company valuation. So that is hot off the press and will be coming out soon. So today we're going to talk about, as I say, automation. We're going to talk about private equity. But first of all, I really want everybody else to know a little bit more about you. So as is customary on Bots and Beyond, if you can give us an intro of who you are, what you do, and why you do it, that would be brilliant.
Sure, happy to. So hi, everyone. My name is Josephine Hus. I work as an investment professional in the private equity space, and I focus on value creation. Why I do what I do. I really love the diversity of my job, the impact I can have on different businesses across different sectors and different geographies. So enjoying my job and enjoying working with you, Wayne, for the past couple of years.
Brilliant. And talking about diversity, it doesn't really get more diverse than where, we kind of have a bit of background in the sense that we both started our careers over in telco, but I was in the customer service side and you were helping to build out 4G. So that really is diverse. And I know you refer to it as your geeky days, but talk to us a little bit about what were you doing with 4G back in the day?
Yeah, indeed. Very geeky. Yeah, I actually started my career in the semiconductor industry. So I worked for a startup. We were doing algorithms for 4G chips, WiMAX and LTE, before 4G even existed commercially. So I was a digital signal processing engineer. Couldn't get more geeky than that, to be honest. I was doing everything from development, testing, research, patenting. It was quite fun.
Excellent. So that's diverse. And then you went into McKinsey, didn't you? So you've gone from 4G startup to McKinsey. So talk to us a little bit about, how did you end up at McKinsey and what were you doing there?
Yeah, I'll be very honest. It was quite opportunistic. I was looking to transition into the business world, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So a lot of people who don't know what they want to do end up in consulting because there's a huge amount of diversity and choice, and you can really explore what you really like and what you're good at. So applied for McKinsey. I loved them. They loved me. I worked there for about 6 years. It was amazing. I learned a lot about business and distanced myself from my geeky side, although it still exists somewhere deep inside me. And probably that's why we're talking about bots and automation today.
Excellent. And obviously, I guess the background there in startup in McKinsey helps you in your role today. So tell us a bit more about your kind of role in the investment company that you work in.
Yeah. So I'm part of the portfolio team. So what we do is we focus on value creation for our company. So two things, actually, support the due diligence of our companies from an operational and commercial perspective. And then when we acquire the companies, really collaborate with the management teams to help them either expand their business or create more efficiencies in their business or innovate. there's a lot to do, and we're basically there to partner with them in a very, very collaborative way. And just to give you an example, and you know this, Wayne, we even try to bring our different management teams together regularly. On the topic of automation, for instance, I think every month or every second month, we gather the heads of automation and digital transformation across our companies to exchange ideas, for them to help each other and really be a sounding board for new ideas. So anyway, my role is basically to help our portfolio companies in any way possible.
Great. And you know, one of the things that I've always admired from your organization is that collaboration. You know, of course, portfolio CFOs, CEOs, you know, will meet irregularly, you know, annually, in formal settings, but you know, having had the opportunity to talk with, you know, your wider portfolio and to talk about newer tech and problems and things, it's been a really interesting time to see, you know, various different COE leaders, automation thought leaders all together across your portfolio on a reasonably regular basis, kind of chewing the fat and, you know, being able to help each other. And I think that is incredibly commendable. And I know that that's something that you've been really passionate about driving and making sure that you make the most of all of the knowledge that you have across your portfolio at that lower level, you know, the people who are doing the do. And I think that's really, as I say, really admirable. So, you know, long may that continue, I'm sure. You know, you spoke about digital transformation. I guess you spoke about automation there, but I mean, why is, you know, change, you know, automation driven change really important to private equity in your view?
Yeah, well, very good question. I think in the past couple of years, private equity has opened its eyes to the value of digital transformation in general. A lot of the companies we invest in are quite traditional. They're very successful. However, they inherit maybe some of the more manual face-to-face processes from before. And so, as you can imagine, there's a lot of opportunity to unlock more capacity in the organization, get rid of the kind of manual, repetitive tasks that nobody wants to do, and reinvest that capacity in value-adding activities. And you know, if we think about, I mean, there are a lot of skeptics out there, and a lot of voices that think that automation is about reducing headcount. For us, it's really about productivity uplift. We invest in companies that are growing. That means that instead of having to hire more people to do more business, we can work more efficiently with the people we have. So, and people actually, I mean, employees have actually given amazingly positive feedback about automation, because in the end, automation helps them have a more exciting day-to-day job and therefore be more productive. So I think apart from the obvious quantitative productivity uplift improvements that automation brings, I think there's a lot of qualitative improvement as well in these organizations. So automation, just to go back to your question, extremely important in private equity. I know from kind of my peers in other PE firms that they're doing a lot in this space as well. And I think there's room to do even more in the next couple of years.
So can you give us a couple of examples, perhaps, of where automation's really benefited specific organizations within the Permira portfolio, Josephine?
Yeah, happy to. Actually, across the Permira portfolio, we've been seeing a lot of great progress in automation. And we have a wide variety of examples by sector, by geography. So a couple of examples, we've automated a bunch of back office processes at Universidade Europea in Spain and Portugal. We've also automated some of the professional services processes at Tricor in Asia. We've managed to increase productivity of the onboarding team for Cielo, which is a recruitment process outsourcing company in the US. So as you can see, a wide variety of use cases, all very successful, and we're continuing to build examples and scale these up as we go.
Excellent. And we mentioned before around kind of your diverse background, and it's clear to see that automation has got applicability in anything from a recruitment outsourcer to a group of universities. So for anyone wondering whether automation can add value to their type of business, I think the kind of seal of approval from you would be quite possibly yes. And I think just one of the couple of points there, you spoke about growing businesses. I mean, one of the quotes that one of my colleagues always comes out with is, no organization really cuts themselves to greatness. And I think that's really telling in that, capacity creation is the aim of the game here. How can you double the size of your business without doubling the size of your people is one of the ways that you are going to, I guess, improve your cost base. It's going to increase your revenues, therefore going to improve your EBITDA, and therefore the valuation of the organization is likely to increase. So you can see why automation has an important role to play. But obviously it's not the only thing that you concentrate on. You mentioned digital transformation, and I know when we've spoken in the past, you've worked with digital agencies. There's been things like apps built. There's lots to it, isn't it? In your role, you're not just looking at can RPA help. Talk to us a little bit more about what else is in your toolkit that you assist organizations with.
Yeah, I think of various. A number of things. So one is around the client-facing side of a business. So how do you build a very compelling digital proposition? So anything around product design and engineering, for instance, creating an app. So how do you think about creating a minimum viable product? How do you get input from your customers? How do you deliver that product iteratively? How do you build a digital organization around that? That's really important. I think secondly, especially for services businesses where it's really about the customer journeys, how do you take that customer journey and reinvent it, completely rethink it in a way that the experience of customers is maximized? How do you use digital to maximize that experience, personalize it, make it more efficient from an organization perspective? So that's a very important pillar as well. And of course, automation plays an important role here. It can be an important tool to enable actually both of these transformations.
Excellent. You speak about automation. I mean, are we saying, or do you think that RPA is the silver bullet here, or do you have a kind of wider view of what constitutes automation in your world at the moment?
I would, brutally honest, definitely not the silver bullet. The way I see it is RPA is amazing where it's suitable. But you should always think about, first of all, is that process worth automating, or do you need to re-engineer or kill that process? So by no means should you automate a process that is broken. That's number one. Number two, I also think if you have the opportunity to do deep automation and rethink your whole kind of infrastructure, you should definitely do that. However, that's costly and it takes time. So whenever that's not the case, RPA is a very good solution. But then RPA in itself is also not self-sufficient. A lot of the things, we start with RPA, but then we need tools such as optical character recognition, a bit of machine learning. We've started using chatbots and integrating RPA with chatbots. And so there's a whole suite of tools that I kind of consider in the automation bucket. And Wayne, of course, you know this as well, or even better than me.
Brilliant, yeah. And I think it's really, telling that yes, RPA is fantastic in its own right, but it really is one of the tools in the automation toolkit, and automation is just one of the tools in digital transformation. And I think that's really, it's a great point to bring out that, that automation is, even in its entirety, is not the silver bullet that every organization needs. And sometimes it is still just good old process improvement, process elimination, Lean Six Sigma. You really need to think about everything, and it's right tool, right job is one of my mantras, and it definitely sounds like that's something that is right up your alley as well, Josephine. So I think that's probably brings us to a nice close today. Again, it's been fantastic speaking with you and really understanding how private equity sees the role of automation as a tool within a toolkit, and also how you see it as a way to enable growth of a business. And again, re-quoting my colleague, no organization cuts themselves to greatness. And so, it's fantastic to see that coming out in today's conversation. Thank you, Josephine, again. Great to have kicked off 2021's Bots and Beyond with your pearls of wisdom. The great guests, as always, keep coming. The next few episodes are already lined up, and really looking forward to continuing the Bots and Beyond podcast series. Thank you for listening, and have a pleasant 2021.